did it hurt? And he's like, no, it didn't hurt. Oh, and they're here.
Oh, we're over here talking about COVID, and AJR just shows up.
The Two Faces for Radio Zoom Room.
First off, I do want to ask, like, how that drive-in concert went.
Oh, that was really, that was cool. It's so funny, and I said this on stage. It's so rare, if not, unprecedented for us, that an artist and fans do something together for the first time. Where like neither side knows what to expect, and that's exactly what happened. And I guess beforehand we didn't really know what was going to happen. We knew that obviously it would feel weird, and it really did. We went out on stage and there were about 900 cars there. But on stage, I guess the parking lot could fit theoretically 20,000 people if they were all standing next to each other. But I guess there were technically only about 4,000 there total. So it sounded like crickets on stage to us, which is such a weird feeling to go out and put everything into it and hear nothing back, just hear mild, applause. So it took a second to kind of get over that hump of weirdness. But then when we relaxed and really looked out, we saw that people were really into it and they were having a good time. They were sitting in their trunks and just kind of hanging out. So it was actually a really good feeling at the end of the day.
Yeah, so the crowd interaction is what you guys live off of, right, as performers?
Yeah, even when you tell a joke and you get no laugh, it's just okay, let's just try to shut my eyes and keep going. Yeah.
Was there something different, if people got, if they liked the song, instead of clapping, they would honk their horns or strobe their flag?
There was a lot of horn honking, and that also too is so funny because you're conditioned to think that when someone honks their horn, they're saying, "I don't like you, get out of my way." But this time it's positive for the first time in history, so we had to get used to that too.
Did y'all think it would be like the Chainsmokers? They just had their thing where it turned into a mosh pit. Were you worried about that at all?
Well, it's funny. So every show we do we have our dad record a little message for one of the transitions between
I saw that,
the songs. So for this, in our normal show, he says, "Oh, am I allowed to curse on here?" I don't know if
yeah.
Go for it, dude.
He says I'm so proud of my sons, and for this next song, I want you to put your fucking hands up, or something like that. But for this, we recorded a special one for this show, and it was something like, I'm so proud of what my sons have done. And speaking of, I want to stay proud of my sons. I talked to the Chainsmokers' parents, and they were not proud at all, or something like that. And all the fans were like, oh, so we had to, take a little nod to that.
Do a little dig.
Yeah, exactly. But we obviously were a little worried, but people were, so compliant and safe. They literally just stayed at their car. Everyone was really polite. It couldn't have worked out better.
Would it be something that you would do again?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, exact same question. We really want to do it as much as possible, honestly. It's just a good feeling, and I think it's just a really big part of our job is to be there for people when they're anxious or have nothing to do or feeling down. So as much as we can do that and give them something that they love for a night would be great.
And logistically, how much harder was it to put together that show as opposed to a normal show on your guys' tour or something?
A lot.
Was it harder?
Way harder.
Yeah, because this doing something like this of a band our size is kind of unprecedented. So we had to find the right parking lot that can fit enough people so that the show, doesn't lose $1 million. So it was, we're kind of forging a new path here, and hopefully other artists follow in our footsteps and we can create a new kind of show for now.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's awesome.
I know you guys live off of your shows as well. Jackson got to go to Neo Theater back in February at the Coliseum here in Indy.
Oh, great.
I didn't get to go, and it was something I really wanted to do because I know you guys really incorporate your music into the shows, and it's just something unlike anything else. But was that hard transitioning to a different show, or was it something you guys had planned for this tour that got canceled, or how was that all put together?
It was little bits of stuff we had done on the Neo Theater tour and then some new stuff. Yeah, and it was also more so because when we do festivals, we can't really bring Jackson, you saw we have a crazy amount of production on stage. When you do a festival, you can't really bring any of that to the festival, so we basically just did more of our toned down festival set.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. So tell us about the new Bummerland song coming out in a few days. I think when we drop the podcast, it'll be out, so...
Yes. Okay. So, Bummerland, it was an interesting story for this one because, we were really excited to put out new music. We had another song and I won't say the name because it's going to come out eventually, but that we were planning on putting out instead. And then the Black Lives Matter movement kind of hit, and, you know, the protest started, and we said, you know, let's not put music out right now. Let's not take attention away from something that needs everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And after, you know, we kind of took a pause and then went back to writing a little bit and said, okay, it's time to put out a song. We ended up writing this song, Bummerland, that we felt was just really what we were feeling in the moment. And I feel like what everyone else is feeling. And I don't want to give too much of the song away, but it's for anyone that's been feeling down or frustrated during this time. It's the very AJR-ish version of that.
Any music video plans for it then?
Yes, we filmed a music video here in quarantine. We don't really get to do that very often. Usually, you know,
That's
we hire
awesome.
a director and there's a big budget, but we rented a camera and then just brought a friend out, and the 3-4 of us just shot it all around Long Island together. It was super fun.
I saw like a photo on your Instagram. I think it was Instagram or Twitter. I think it was one of you on like a roof, and you had like some like colorful stuff under you and stuff. Is that part of the music video? Or is that
very
just
much
fun?
is. That's me in my parachute outfit. Yep. Yep.
How was like quarantine affected your guys' writing? Like, because I know you said you guys write about certain things that happen in your life. Has this been a positive inspiration to write more music, or has it kind of been harder?
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, both. I think writing, you need kind of two sides of your brain. You need one side where you're a sponge, you're taking in everything. You're seeing, oh, this is how people act at a party, and this is how they act in a relationship, and you have more information, right, to write. And then the other side of your brain is reflective, where you have to analyze that information and say, this is what's happening now, how can we really think deeply about it and put it into something that's emotional in a song. And we're totally missing that first half of our brain. We're totally missing any kind of stimulation of seeing other people and seeing the dynamics of social relationships and stuff. But we have way more time to reflect on things. I think everybody does, because everybody's like kind of alone right now. Everybody's kind of thinking more about their childhood and their life. And so we're writing a lot more songs rooted in that.
I saw you tweeted about like you were up till like 4 a.m. or something, like writing a song, and that it might make the album. Were you talking about that at all?
Yeah, it's the one we're working on right now.
Yeah, we're still working on it, actually. Yeah, when we write songs, it's like it's so funny, and that's you know, a perfect example of why it's strange writing during this time when there is less inspiration. So when you do have the inspiration, you can't go to bed. Like you
gotta go
into it. So we had to be up the other night till 4 a.m., you know, because we were excited about it, or else we would have woken up in the morning and been like, okay, like, let's watch TV and eat breakfast, and maybe we'll get it back at some point.
Exactly. So how many songs go into, so you write, obviously there's only like 12, 16 songs on an album. How many songs are actually written for that album that get scratched?
Yeah, what we do is really different from what most artists do, at least a lot of our friends in the industry. A lot of those artists will write well over like 100 songs, you know, for an album, and then just end up picking the 12 best. For all the albums that we put out, I don't think we've written more than 20 songs for the album, because, you know, a lot of people will, you know, rent a studio for a day, and then the co-writer will come in and they'll write a song, and that's the song, and then they'll do the same thing the next day. We don't do that. We don't really have co-writers or a studio. So when we start a song, we're really going to flush it out as much as we possibly can. And it could take up to like 2 weeks to finish a song. And then we'll move on to the next one. So the time, for some reason, is just stretched out a lot more for us. So we end up writing less songs by the end.
So how many times do you guys like start thinking of a song idea in your head and then you scrap it, as opposed to like actually going to the studio and record it, as you were talking about?
Yeah, I think as we've gotten to be better songwriters, because we've been doing this for 15 years, in the beginning, we saw through songs and then threw them out, right? We like finished an entire song, and then after we were done, we said, this was not a good song, let's throw it out. But I think after 15 years, we've gotten really good at knowing, okay, we only have the concept, or we only have a verse, and we already know this is not worth keeping.
Yeah, even the other day, I think we just were in the middle of writing a song. We were just like, nope, not feeling it. I think we're halfway done with it. We're just like, let's just toss it out and move on. Because, yeah, like Ryan said, we've gotten good at it, and it's such a bad feeling, like, not being 100% excited about something creatively. That's just like the worst feeling in the world, when you have been excited about other songs that you've worked on so far for the album. So if you're not at that level yet, I'm guessing it's probably not going to go on the album. You know?
Right, and do it quick. Everybody fails, but the goal is to fail quickly. like, okay, let's just fail quickly and move on, and and go get to something that we're excited about.
So in your songwriting process, I mean, we talked about your tours being absolutely insane on the production side. When you guys are writing a song, what comes first, the song, then the tour idea, or do you guys have like a vision in your head of what to show on stage and then kind of write a song based on that?
Oh, wow. A lot of the times we'll find ourselves saying mid-songwriting, oh, and then this is what we'll do on stage for this. I think it comes pretty simultaneously. I think like when we were writing like the entertainments here, or like for our last album, I think, like, because there's a part where I'm like walking on a treadmill on stage, and there's like the screen going behind me. I think that was kind of the image that we had.
Yeah.
And especially for this, when we do go on tour, we have like a million new ideas for production that we're lining up with this. So I think it's honestly simultaneously.
Yeah. I remember in finale that Can't Wait to See What You Do Next, there's a moment of welcome to the Neo Theater, instrumental break, like a French horn doesn't. We can't wait to see. And we specifically put in that instrumental break so that we had time to go, thank you, Chicago.
Thank you, Indianapolis.
Thank you, Indianapolis. Yeah, so we had a moment for that so it would land perfectly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm.
I wish you could have seen it, Tommy. Max, we and two of my roommates went to the Neo Theater tour in Indy, and it was awesome. It was really cool.
Thanks so much.
I was so pumped up for you guys' show this summer. Then obviously things completely got jacked up.
I know. Yeah, we're in the process.
Do you guys have any plans for going back out, or?
Yeah, we're in the process of scheduling. Obviously, no one knows for sure, and it's like so messy now in terms of tour booking and what should we do. But I mean, as soon as someone says, okay, we're all good, we're gonna be hopefully the first ones out, because obviously we love doing it.
Have you ever thought of the idea of doing like a full drive-in tour? Or, I mean, obviously that's never been done, I'm sure, but.
I mean, I think that did cross our mind. Like we talked about before, just logistically, it's not nearly as simple as setting up a regular, okay, these venues are 3,000 to 5,000, and the load-in is the normal. It's all just so different, I think, per place. So it would be just such a mess.
Yeah. Well, just out of curiosity, where'd you guys do the show? Like, was it a stadium parking lot, or?
Yeah, it was in Philly, the Citizens Bank Park, where the Phillies play.
Gotcha. I was like, I don't know where a parking lot can fit 2,000 cars. Other than
Right. It has to be some sort of sports arena or stadium, yeah.
Right. Crazy.
So how far away are we to the next album? Because I know you've been teasing that recently.
Yeah, so we are probably about halfway done now. I'd say that we have around 6 songs that are like definitely gonna make the album. So I guess timeline-wise, I would think we'd be done by the end of the year, maybe top of next year. So hopefully not too long.
How are, like, if you have any collaborations, how's that working during quarantine?
Do we have any collaborations so far on the album? Not yet, I don't think
We're working on a couple.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, even before quarantine, most collaborations that you hear are remote now.
Are they?
We never met Rivers Cuomo, who was on Sober Up, until well after the album came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did y'all meet them, or how did y'all meet them after the album?
Rivers was he was with Weezer playing at a festival that we were playing at, and we hadn't met him yet. We just talked on the phone a bunch, and we were on we were obviously on like the smallest stage at the time, and he was on the huge stage headlining it. I think we were just like, yeah, this song just came out and it's featuring, and I like looked to my right and he's just like side stage with his arms crossed, like waving at us, and I'm like, oh, this guy, and he kind of stuck his head out and waved to the audience. It was a hilarious moment. It was so good.
You're like, hey, what's up? Remember that song we did together?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And then is this next album any different from any other albums or how is it different?
I think it's some of the most extreme music we've made. I think it's like some of the saddest music, some of the angriest music, and honestly some of the happiest, fastest music we've ever made. I think we're trying to stretch the limits of what we consider to sound AJR-ish.
So, like, just listening off of Bang, which I'm assuming is going to be on the next album, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you guys kind of like imitating a sound like that, or is it going to be completely?
I guess different? So. It's hard to say for us as a band that we're gonna, that the album is gonna have one sound like that. You know, when we write, and I think you could hear it on Neo Theater and the Click, when you go from song to song, there definitely is like a through line of sorts. but each song I think sounds pretty different. You know, going from Entertainment's Here to Don't Throw My Legos to Dear Winter. It's like, oh wow, those are stylistically three pretty different songs, and that's just what we like to do because we have such small attention spans, like most of the world. So when we're done with a song, we're like, why would we do that again? Let's move on to something that we haven't done before, you know, just to keep us excited.
Yeah.